Hello and welcome into another edition of my CD pickups. Let's get stuck in. The first one I'm going to show off is from a charity shop. It is Young Buck with his second album, Buck the World. This came out in 2007. Um, Known for his affiliation and being a member of G Unit. Um, yeah, I've never really dug into his solo stuff before, but I always liked him when he was in G Unit. Probably my favorite G Unit member, apart from 50 Cent himself. This is a solid Southern hip hop album for sure. I've only listened to it once, so can't give like a very in depth opinion on it. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a good album, and pretty good features on here from the likes of 8 Ball and MJG, Bun B, and Pimp C are on here. Pimp C, of course, would pass away later on that year. Rest in peace to him. Ti, Young Jeezy, both of which were blowing up at the time. Yeah, a pretty good album. Chester Bennington is on here from Linkin Park. That's a bit strange. 50 Cent, of course, is on here as well. The song Hold On featuring 50 Cent would be one of my favorites. There's also a very good hidden track at the end of the album with 50 Cent going at Dipset, and it's called Funeral Music, I believe, is the song. That's very good as well. Haters featuring Cocaine, it's pretty good too. Mostly pretty good album. I enjoyed it. Straight up Southern hip hop. Enjoyed it definitely. Definitely worth getting for only £1 in the charity shop. That sticker there is says £12, but I didn't play anywhere close to that. And it's a Virgin sticker. Virgin hasn't been around for a long time as far as their shops go. That was a long time ago. So yeah, Buck the World by Young Buck, solid album. Came out in 2007. Next up, we've been listening to a lot of Redman. So here is Redman Stairs the Dark Side. This came out in 1994. Yeah, everyone knows Redman. This is pretty much carries off where what the album left off. Same kind of like a lot of the funk samples and that sort of thing. But this album's even darker. You know what I mean? It's a very appropriate title. And what's impressive is that Redman actually does a lot of his own beats on this album. He actually produced most of the album himself, which is really impressive. Redman never gets any credit for his production work. Very good album. Songs I like are Cosmic Slop featuring Eric Sermon and Keith Murray. That's a very good song. I also really like Can't Wait, which was one of the main singles, and Superman Lover Part 2, very good as well. Really good album. I don't know if I prefer this over What the Album or not. We'll see over time. But I thought this was a very good album anyway, and a great follow up. So yeah, there's a Dark Side. It came out in 1994. And also, I did pick up this, and people are gonna be like, "Why did you buy that?" But Redman with Red Gone Wild. This came out in 2007. I believe this is his sixth album. I forgot to mention this with the Young Buck, but Young Buck and this album are the first two like weird cases that I've got. These rounded cases with the clear bits here and the weird button thing that you have to press on the side to open it. I really hate that. It's really like hard to open. It's like harder than it should be. Um, yeah, for whatever reason in the UK in like 2006, 2007, they used these cases. I don't know why. Maybe they're more durable than normal jewel cases, but like it's a pain in the ass because, well, for multiple reasons. Number one, I mentioned the fact kind of hard to open. It's like kind of there's too much effort to open it up. Another thing is that if you want to replace it, it's harder to replace because obviously there are less of these cases around, so that's a thing. And also, it's hard to get the booklets out because there's grips here as well, so you have to kind of slide it up, and it's hard because there's obviously a ridge there. It's like hard to get the booklets out. So yeah, not a fan of these cases at all, really. But the album itself, in my opinion, I got this really cheap online. I heard it before, and I actually quite like it. It's not great. There's far too many songs. It's got 24, well, normally 23 tracks, but this is the UK version, which has an extra song called "Fuck the Security," which is actually my favorite song on the album, believe it or not. It's nothing that great, but I really enjoy that song. And there's a couple of other good ones on here as well, like "Gimme One," which is produced by Pete Rock, and there's a couple of other pretty good ones too. But the Superman Lover on here is very good too. But it's not a great album. The production's very inconsistent. He has like 20 different producers on here. and what was I gonna say? Yeah, just too many tracks, too many tracks. But I enjoy it for what it is. Redman is great on here as always. You know what I mean? Like his lyrics and just his overall delivery, very entertaining. Still, it's just the beats are not the best on here, but I enjoyed it anyway. You know what I mean? If you can get it really cheap, I recommend it. I'm really happy to have this UK version because I really do like that bonus song. So yeah, Redman with Red Gone Wild, the album came out in 2007. Yeah, expect more Redman in the future. That's all I'll say. Next up, we got from an artist that likes his marijuana to another group of artists that like their marijuana. We've got Cypress Hill with unreleased and revamped EP. This came out in 1996. This came out in between their third and fourth albums. Temples of Boom and the four album, which is very underrated. As anyone who knows me knows, I always bang on about how underrated the fourth Cypress Hill album is. But yeah, this is a mix of like remixes and I guess either new songs or leftover songs. Kind of, you can tell if it's they're either leftover or new songs. I'm not sure, but you can tell it's like close to Temples of Boom. You know what I mean? It's that kind of vibe. Um, yeah, very good. I wouldn't say it's essential, but if you're a big Cypress fan like me, definitely worth picking up. Most of the remixes are very good. The only remix that I don't like is the Illusions one. I think that's pretty weak by Q-Tip. I actually don't really like that. But the Diamond D remix for When the Ship Goes Down, that's tough. And I like the Hits from the Bong remix as well from T-Ray. That's good too. And Boom Biddy Bow Bow, Fuji's remix. That's like a new song. You know what I mean? That's not even a remix. That's like a new song. And Throw Your Hands in the Air, which features Redman, Eric Sermon, and MC8. So that's a cool track as well. It sounds like Throw Your Set in the Air, but again, that's pretty much a new song too. Yeah, a pretty good EP. Again, I wouldn't say it's essential, but big Cypress fans, pick it up. It's really cheap online. I've been meaning to get this forever, but just didn't get round to it. So yeah, Cypress Hill with unreleased and revamped came out in 1996. Oh, next up, I know people love it when I buy albums from this artist. It is Rick Ross with Teflon Don. This is his fourth album. Yeah, a lot of people say this is his best album. I don't know about that because I haven't heard all of his albums, but I do quite like this album. It's probably his best album out of all the ones I have. Overall, the other two albums I have from him are God Forgives I Don't, which starts off really strong but sort of loses its way about halfway through, and Hood Billionaire, which is kind of it's a bit shaky throughout, but it has some really good songs on it. Excuse me. This one is really consistent, and it's only 11 tracks as well. You know what I mean? Which makes up for those other two albums I have are like they take forever to get through. They're like 77 minutes each, But this is like easy to listen to. I know a lot of people don't like Rick Ross. I personally like him. I'm a fan. He's not the most complicated as far as flow and stuff like that goes, but I just love his choice of production for a lot of the stuff he gets, and he knows how to ride those beats perfectly, and he can be a good lyricist when he wants to be as well. And yeah, even though he often works with people that I usually can't stand, like Drake and Gucci Mane, and I don't like Kanye West either, but like it doesn't bother me as much when he works with him for some reason. I don't know why. I guess those features just don't ruin those songs for me or something like that. But yeah, I enjoy this album. My favorite song on it is Maybach Music Free featuring T.I., Jadakiss, and Erykah Badu. Very good. Very good song. Yeah, overall, good album. I don't know if it's his best album or not until I check out the other ones, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, Rick Ross, Teflon Don came out in 2010. Yeah. Ooh. Next up, this is an album that I was supposed to show off last time, but I forgot to grab it because I'm an idiot. So it is Organized Confusion with Organized Confusion, self-titled album, came out in 1991. I also have their second album, Stress, the Extinction Agenda, which is better than this album, I think. But like the Stress is a more hardcore, like grimy kind of sounding album. This is a little bit more funky, a little bit more upbeat. Throughout a lot of the songs, still has kind of like a gritty kind of sound to it. But yeah, really good album though. Still really enjoyed it. My favorite song on here is the song "Releasing Hypnotical Gases." That's my favorite song on here. But generally, it's a really good album. I think both Pharoah Monch and Prince Poe just are fantastic, really, and really good production. Like I said, a little bit more upbeat than Stress. You know what I mean? And the lyrics are a bit more upbeat too. You know what I mean? Not as dark as their second album, but still very good. Really good album. I highly recommend it if you can get a chance to check it out. And yeah, I haven't checked out their third album yet, Equinox. I know I had the chance to kind of get that for a good price, but I passed it up because I got that. They got this one around the same time, so yeah. But still, really good album. Definitely check it out. Organized Confusion, 1991. Next up, we've got what's considered a hip hop classic. It is Scarface with The Diary. This came out in 1994. That's an old HMV sticker up there for £11. I've never seen Scarface in HMV before. They should sell his albums, but I've never seen Scarface in HMV, unfortunately, or Ghetto Boys for that matter. Yeah, The Diary. This is his third solo album. This came out in 1994, and really good album, really really good. This is when Scarface kind of adopted that kind of preachery kind of delivery. Does that make any sense? Not as aggressive and as in your face as like Mr. Scarface is back or like the earlier Ghetto Boy stuff, but here he's more like wise and like just an amazing storyteller throughout. And I love the beats on here too, from the likes of N.O. Joe and Mike Dean. It's like that. This is when Rap A Lot was going towards that kind of G-funk kind of direction, and it was really really good. My favorite song is one of the singles, "Hand of the Dead Body," featuring Ice Cube. Also features Devin the Dude on the hook. I really really like that song. I really like the title track as well. It's just a bit too short. The Diary. I think that's a really good song too. G's really good. Just generally really good album. Like not pretty short. It's like 42 minutes or something. But I like albums like that. Albums that don't mess around and they just kind of you know give you all the great tracks and just that's it. It's over. You know what I mean? I love albums like that. Yeah, Scarface is excellent. You can't go wrong with Scarface, and yeah, I haven't heard all of his albums, but a lot of people say this is his best, and yeah, can't really argue with that. So yeah, really, really good. Scarface the Diary came out in 1994. Well, eventually, I would love to get all of his albums eventually. It would take quite a while because he has a lot of them, but yeah, yeah, Scarface. So next up, we've got an album that I'm really happy to get because it usually goes for a lot of money, but I got a really good deal for it. It is SIBO with the best of SIBO. This came out in 1995. I guess after his second album, Tales from the Crypt. It's kind of crazy to think that they put out like a best of compilation, two albums in. It's kind of crazy. It's actually a little bit misleading calling it the best of because it's like yeah, some of it technically is, but there's actually quite a decent number of songs on here that aren't on anything else. Particularly the song "One Time Can't Stop This." That's one of my favorite SIBO songs, and it's exclusive to this. Really good song. And there's a couple of other ones, "Straight Killer" and "Straight Killer Remix." Like that's exclusive to here. And even the songs that were on other albums, they're like alternate versions of some of the songs. So like the Autopsy, the title track from the Autopsy EP is on here, but it's like a different version. It has during the in between verses, it has his voice going the Autopsy, which is like really stupid. I prefer the original one, but yeah, there might be other differences too, but that was one that I picked up on. Oh, and the song Freestyle has a different beat. On that was on Tales from the Crypt. This one has a different beat, and they have the radio versions of the songs America's Nightmare. It's called American Nightmare in the back. I guess that's a mistake. And Birds in the Kitchen. And the radio version of Birds in the Kitchen has E40 on the hook. But yeah, it's really good. Really good stuff. I'm really happy to get it because it's like long out of print and really happy to have it. And it's well worth getting even if you have all of his albums and stuff because yeah, like I said, it's got a decent number of his exclusive songs and they're really good ones too. So yeah, SIBO at this time was really fantastic. So yeah, also has the song "Living Like a Hustler" with Be Legit. That's on here as well. Um, when his next album came out, One Life to Live, they stuck that song on there, but they just called it "Living Like a Hustler Part 2." Like, how terrible is that? It's literally the same song, but they called it Part 2. AWOL Records, a very shady company, I have to say. I know very little about them, but they strike me as a shitty record company. But yeah, SIBO with the best of SIBO, very good. Well worth checking out. And the last album I'm going to show off is actually a new album. It is MC8 with Which Way Is West. This came out in 2017, this year. And I really, really, really like this album. I think it's really good. Probably my favorite album that I've heard this year. I've heard a lot of new albums this year, and I have to say most of them have been pretty good. But this is my favorite, definitely. And I definitely had to get a physical copy of this. Comes in like a digipack, but it's one of those ones where it's like a sleeve inside and it just holds the disc. It's not that great, but aside from that, the actual album itself is really good. I know when I talked about Cool G Rap Return of the Dawn in the last episode, I talked about how there was too many features. There's a lot of features on this, but the difference is that there's a lot more songs on this, and also I feel like MC8's just on the songs a lot more. The problem with Return of the Dawn was that you would have Cool G Rap do a verse, and then the rest of the song was taken up by features. Here, it's like you've got a guest verse, and then like two MC8 verses. You know what I mean? So you had a good amount of MC8 on this album, and all the guests are really good as well. Dub C's on here, he never fails. Lady of Rage kills that. Heart Gold featuring Lady of Rage kills it. Be Real from Cypress Hill is on here. Exhibit, Corrupt, Big Mike, from Rap a Lot fame, working with the Convicts and the Ghetto Boys and all that. Bumpy Knuckles, even the Outlaws on here appear on a banging song called "Shut 'Em Down." Really good way to start the album, and yeah, it's really good. My favorite song here is the song "Gangsta Gangsta" featuring Corrupt. Amazing kind of G-funk kind of vibe. Samples Eazy-E during the chorus. It's just it's awesome. But yeah, really good album overall. Really happy to have it. Um, this was executive produced by DJ Premier, and DJ Premier does 3 beats, but the rest of the beats were done by this guy called Brank Sinatra, and he does a fantastic job. He kind of brings it back to like West Coast, like like in the early '90s, before G Funk came around, like that kind of period when the West Coast was very influenced by the East Coast, and it was very more kind of grittier kind of sound. It definitely carries that over here on this album, but at the same time, it sounds modern too. It doesn't sound like an old album. And MC8 is still great. I'm not a big fan of Kendrick Lamar or Good Kid, Mad City, but MC8 is great on there on the song Mad City. It was great to hear a new album from him. He hasn't lost it at all. He sounds a little bit like more rugged, a little bit older, but that's fine. You know what I mean? It really suits him. As this like veteran. What else to say? It's really really good. I highly recommend it. MC8 Which Way Is West came out in 2017, and that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.